Hello, and thank you for tuning in. So, my name is Nehru, and you are tuned into The Encourager. I want to talk a minute about, most of us know it as not settling, but I'm going to talk about it in a different way. I'm going to talk about it in overstaying your welcome and recognizing when it's time to go, because your mission is complete in that land. Okay? And so it goes along with overstaying your welcome from a physical or spiritual standpoint. And as most of you know, and thank you for tuning in again to the faithful subscribers, and to those who are returning listeners and new listeners, hello. Hope you're doing well. Feel free to comment in this section or suggest, if there's some other subject, again, or some other question. My email address is in the description of the video. And so recognizing when it's time to move on and not overstaying your welcome. Okay? So I remember one of the last conversations I had with the twin flame turned false. And that was, they said, I would have, they said I would not have stayed. They said I would have left a long time ago. That's what she said. She said I would have left a long time ago. So when someone says that to you, they are literally saying to you, to your face, I think you're kind of a fool for staying around here because I'm not going to change. That is exactly what they're telling you. That is exactly what they're telling you. Things aren't going to change. I would not even put up with my own self. I would not put on with my own trickery, my own narcissistic traits, my own devious, manipulating, betraying. I would not put up with my own self. That's what they're telling you. Well, that's what she told me. That's what I read. Okay? So when someone told me this, and I believe it was the woman I was married to, the second marriage, right? Which lasted just 2.5 years or something. She said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I took that to heart when I left her after the transplant, when she didn't come to the doctor with me, right? For the surgery, for the procedure in Pittsburgh. So I left her. You might think that's bad. I don't care. It's my life. I have free will to do whatever I want to. You probably should consider getting out of the karmic relationship you're in, right? And stop being prideful or lazy, weak, whatever you want to call it, and be a soldier. So, she would say, when someone tells you or shows you who they are, believe them. Okay? And I don't think I'd ever heard that from anyone at that point in time. And I thought, wow. Huh. And I started to. Okay? And so the emotional and spiritual side and the healing and all of that, it needs to serve its purpose, regardless of whatever the issue is, whether you stay or go. The healing will need to happen. It's easier if it happens when you're not in the situation, okay? Because it's tough to heal when you're still in the Holocaust. It's tough to heal when Hitler's still on a rampage. It's tough to heal when the bullets are still flying. And essentially, that's what you're doing emotionally when you stay in the relationship. You're staying in the war zone and trying to heal at the same time, and you can't do that. Okay? So you have to get out of the situation, right? Separate yourself. Even Yeshua took time to separate himself. Every great spiritual leader does that. Every great spiritual leader does that, even if they are only spiritually leading themselves, which we are all responsible for. If you lead no one else in your life, you need to lead you. Your spirit man needs to lead your spirit, your physical man. Okay? My spirit man wakes up Nehru. Nehru does not wake up my spirit. Okay? He calls me faithful. That's what Most High calls me. Okay? So Nehru doesn't wake up faithful. Faithful wakes up Nehru. Okay? Right? So you have to remove yourself from the situation. I grew up in a polygamous family, right? 30-something years, well be into my adult years. And he would use witchcraft to manipulate and whatever else those women, okay? They could not see what they were in until they got out. They had to take a step, a brave step, to leave. And if that meant leaving her kids, that's what it meant, because some of them did, and then they had to go to court to get the kids, right? So, and he would readily give them up because he doesn't want any legal issues, because he's done so much shit illegally. He doesn't want any trouble from the law. But he got it. He got 44 to 66 years, actually. Thank goodness. I love karmic justice when it manifests in the natural, don't you? I love it. I love it, right? How many ever times, because he took my first wife, how many ever times he slept with her? I hope 44 to 66 years was worth it. All the miscarriages that Most High allowed to happen, because he would not allow her to birth a child from my father's in fucking scripture. You can't do that. That's spiritual. You're breaking spiritual laws. You can't do that. Marry someone's son and turn around and fuck the father. You can't do that without consequence. Most High wasn't allowing her to birth nothing. So when people show you who they are, believe them. Okay? I asked for her back one time in early 2000, late 99, something, mid 99 maybe, when I was in Germany. I flew back and asked her. All right, stayed here for another week. My first sergeant gave me emergency leave. She wouldn't talk to me. That was a waste of time. Could have stayed in Germany and went to festivals or something. Yes. So pay attention to what people are showing you, because the way I interpret what she was actually saying is pay attention to the people around you, because they may say I love you, but if they're beating you every day, they don't love you, right? If they're narcissistic and you sitting there dealing with that, let me really try to bring this home here real quick, okay? Because I'm not planning on making this a very long video. So you're trying to tell me if a stranger walked up to you and smacked the hell out of you, right? Cold knocked you out. And when you woke up, they were like, I love you. You trying to tell me that you would be okay with that? Why do you accept that from someone else whose first, last name you know, and they've been showing you that for years, weeks, months, whatever, right? Why would you go back to that? Why would you subject yourself, your children, your family, whoever else, to dealing with those individuals who are verbally and non-verbally showing you who they really are? Because you don't know who you are. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. The only true reason. It could be money or whatever else. None of that really matters. It's really because you don't know who you are and you don't love yourself. So therefore you think the constant physical punishment is warranted. Well, yeah. I didn't have his plate on the table when he came home. So yeah, the food was kind of cold. So he beat me. Really? Really? Men? She's lying, cheating, sleeping with the boss at the office, whatever, right? But I love the kids, and I'm afraid of losing the kids. The legal system is the reason why you fear, because the legal system statistics show that most of the time women, even if they're messed up women, right? They could be out on Skid Row. They could be most of the time they still get the kids, even if they could show a glimpse of them being responsible. Okay? Because The legal system, certainly here in the U.S., confirmation, certainly here in the U.S., I don't know what stats are in other parts of the country, in other parts of the world, right, other countries, but here in the U.S., men are raped over the coals when it comes to child support, when it comes to custody of children, because the system views woman as the weaker vessel. And because they view the woman as the weaker vessel or think she's more capable, softer, more nurturing, let me tell you something. Okay? I have dated women who treated their kids like shit. And what do I mean? I don't mean like threw stuff at them. Oh, so I'm going to tell you about, So let me tell you about Roxanne. Oh, shit. So let me tell you about her when I first met her. And she is the twin flame, okay? So whenever I mention, that's who that is, okay? And so when I met her, do you know how she was talking to her daughter? And I had to correct her. She was telling her daughter, sit down before I slap the hell out of you. Sit down before I knock your face. Sit down before I knock. She was talking to her 11-year-old, 9-year-old at the time when I met her, 9. She was talking to her 9-year-old like this. And what are you doing? You don't talk to your child like that. What's wrong with you? For something minor? Really? What? And you guys know how I feel about parents and kids and parents not being willing to let go as the kid grows. No, she's 9. And you're turning around in the car to tell her you're going to knock her teeth out? That was the first indication that something was wrong in that. That was the first indication. Oh, man, there were so many indicators. I've forgiven myself, thankfully, for holding on to something like she told me that she would have left a long, long time ago. So when someone shows you who they are, you better believe them, whether they say it verbally or non-verbally. Okay? Thank you so much. You've been tuned into The Encourager. My name's Nehru. And as always, be encouraged and love yourself first, because then you attract who you are, because you already are attracting that you are. So if you're with a narcissist, that's because you have narcissistic or unhealed childhood wounds, or wounds of some sort, emotionally, spiritually, right? That they find attractive because the enemy knows the weakest link in you. Till next time, stay encouraged.